Hi, this is Hot Mic and I'm Nidhi Razdan. Today, as the world remains focused on Russia's invasion of Ukraine with Vladimir Putin completely isolated by the West, is America's approach to democracy and dictators full of double standards? Vladimir Putin is the pariah of the moment, but one autocrat's loss could be another autocrat's gain. As Putin is sidelined, the US has reached out to Saudi Arabia for oil supplies because Russian oil and gas exports are now hit by sanctions that have been imposed by America. Even a small increase in domestic gas prices would be very bad for Biden, and Biden knows that, which is why he's reaching out to the kingdom. This softening of stand by the Biden administration stands out because the US president had earlier taken a tougher line on the human rights record of the Saudis, particularly in the aftermath of the killing of US journalist Jamal Khashoggi. In fact, Biden has criticized Saudi Arabia's human rights record many times and declassified an intelligence report that concluded that the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was personally responsible for Khashoggi's killing in 2018. The Saudi Crown Prince has, however, reportedly snubbed a call from President Biden, which is interesting. Then there is Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, who faced economic sanctions from Washington, D.C. in 2019 and was even accused of narco-terrorism by the US government. Now, as the US seeks alternative oil and gas supplies, they've reached out to Venezuela as well. In fact, a senior US delegation visited Caracas only a few days ago. This contradiction between US foreign policy and democratic values is not new, but it is Joe Biden who has made a virtue about making democracy and human rights the centerpiece of his foreign policy and administration. Many analysts see it as a means to rally allies and partners against China's growing clout, which explains why India has become such a key partner of the United States and is also part of a grouping known as the Quad, which includes the US, Japan, and Australia. In his first press conference after he became president, Biden said, "It is absolutely clear that this is a battle between the utility of democracies in the 21st century versus autocracies." And that is why back in December, the US president decided to go ahead and hold a virtual summit of democracy, inviting 110 countries to attend. According to the State Department, the goal was, quote, to solicit bold, practicable ideas on the themes of defending against authoritarianism, fighting corruption, and promoting respect for human rights. Nearly 30% of the countries on this guest list, however, had questionable democratic credentials. Even India has seen its democracy rankings downgraded over the last year or two by various global democracy indices, though the Indian government has strongly refuted these ratings. The same summit also saw invitations to strongmen like Philippines' Duterte and Brazil's Bolsonaro. It's also a cruel irony that the same United States abandoned the Afghan people to the tyranny of the Taliban only a few months ago. Over the years, the United States has unhesitatingly supported dictatorships in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the UAE, and elsewhere. It has actively engaged with China, and it has to since China is the world's second largest economy. While Washington criticizes Russia's veto of the UN Security Council resolution that condemned its invasion of Ukraine, it seems the US forgot how it vetoed resolutions challenging their invasions of Grenada, Panama, US attacks on Nicaragua, and Israel's invasions of Lebanon. The US has not sided with the Yemenis, the Lebanese, Palestinians, and others who've been subjected to massive military attacks by US armed allies. Biden has insisted that countries should not be invaded on false pretenses, but that's even more ironic considering that the US invaded Iraq on a bag of lies on weapons of mass destruction. The fact is, foreign policy is dictated by self-interests of countries, not by lofty ideals of democracy as much as we'd like it to be that. Here in Delhi, officials say that those criticizing India's abstention at the United Nations on Russia's invasion of Ukraine need to understand that India is merely looking out for its own interests, as most countries are doing today.